So what if I told you there's an electric bike that hits 38 miles per hour, climbs a 45-degree hill, and gets you up to 90 miles on a single charge, all for a fraction of what you'd expect to pay? That's exactly what HiKNiGHT is promising with their H6 Pro. And today I'm putting those promises to the test to see if they actually hold up. I'm going to show you the unboxing and assembly process. I'm going to walk through all the features. I'm going to run a speed test, a suspension test, and I'm going to take it up one of the steepest hills I can find. Let's get into it. So first of all, let's talk about what you get in the box. In the box, HiKNiGHT includes the bike itself, a charger, a phone holder, which mounts to any handlebar and supports multi-angle rotation, and a hardened steel chain lock, which is a nice addition. A lot of e-bikes don't come with the lock, so it was cool that you actually get one with this bike. Most brands charge extra for those accessories, so having them included from the start is a win. Assembly is straightforward. First of all, you attach the handlebars, then you install the front wheel, you mount the pedals, and you connect the display cable. I would say allow for about 45 minutes to put this together. And one heads up, the included instructions are quite basic and not the easiest to read. So if you get stuck, HiKNiGHT does have further details and support that you can reach out to on their website. And there she is, the HiKNiGHT H6 Pro. And looking at it in person, this thing looks even more aggressive than the photos. Some things I like about it are the matte finish, those chunky fat tires, and those dual motor hubs on both the front and the rear. This bike definitely has serious presence. So let me give you a quick tour of this bike. First of all, starting at the front, the H6 Pro has a proper integrated headlight. It's bright and well positioned. And there's a full safety lighting system on both the front and the rear. This helps make sure that you are visible and keeps you safe. That of course matters, especially if you're riding at dawn, dusk, or on any dark trails in the shadows. And of course, these fat tires, they're 26 by 4 inches, and they're the real deal. The wider contact patch gives you incredible grip and stability across different surfaces. Wet roads, loose gravel, sand, these tires handle it all. There's also a 7-speed gear system on board for optimizing your pedaling efficiency no matter the terrain. And looking at the frame, it is an aluminum frame that HiKNiGHT says is aircraft-grade aluminum alloy. It's light for what this bike is, but strong enough to support a rider up to 380 pounds. You can also feel the quality when you grip it. No flex and no creaking. This thing is built solid. Coming over to the display, up on the handlebars, HiKNiGHT gave the H6 Pro a color LCD display with backlighting. It shows your speed, your battery level, your pedal assist level, your odometer, your trip data, and your motor mode. And I have found it is easy to read in sunlight, even on a day like today where it's very bright. I've had no trouble reading that display, which I do appreciate. Some cheaper displays on some e-bikes, they are very difficult or nearly impossible to read outdoors on a day like today. So next, let's take a look at the buttons here. Looking at the controls, you've got your power button to turn the display on and off. You have the plus and minus buttons to scroll through the 5 levels of pedal assist. There's a mode button to cycle through the display readouts. And here's the big one. There's a dedicated dual motor button on the handlebars. You press it to engage both the front and rear motors simultaneously for full all-wheel drive power. So all you have to do is hold it down to confirm it's in dual drive mode. And that's when this bike becomes a completely different machine. Next, let's talk about the battery, because this is one of the ways in which the H6 Pro distinguishes itself from a lot of other e-bikes. The 52-volt 20-amp-hour battery is fully removable. You unlock it with the included key, you slide it out, and you can charge it at home, at the office, or anywhere you have an outlet. No need to drag the whole bike inside. And this is a Samsung lithium battery, which matters. Samsung cells are known for their consistency and longevity. It's also UL certified, meaning it's passed rigorous safety testing. That's not something every e-bike brand can say. Now for the numbers, HiKNiGHT rates this bike at being able to go about 90 miles on a charge. But that's of course going to be if you have that pedal assist at lower numbers. If you're running on throttle only, you're looking at around about 40 miles. And then in real world riding, where you're going to do a mix of assist and pedaling, you're likely to land somewhere between about 55 to 70 miles on a single charge. And that of course also depends on factors like the terrain. If you're on really level ground, you're going to get more. If you're going up a lot of hills, you're going to get less. It also depends on the weight of the rider. If you're lighter, you're going to get more. If you're heavier, you're going to get a little bit less. But this is still excellent range for a dual motor e-bike. All right, so now it's time for the speed test. I've got my helmet on and we're on a flat straightaway, and I'm going to engage the dual motor mode and let this thing rip. And I'll tell you what, it gets there fast. The acceleration in dual motor mode is immediate. Both the front and rear hubs are pulling and pushing simultaneously, and the 3,000 watt peak power means there's no hesitation off the line. This bike is not a casual commuter. This is a speed machine dressed up as an e-bike. And honestly, it felt more stable at that speed than I was expecting. Those fat tires really helped me feel a little more secure on that bike. If these were narrower tires going at that speed, I don't think I would be comfortable riding it. Next, let's talk about the suspension. The H6 Pro features a full suspension system, and I want to show you exactly what that means. So up front here, you have a front suspension fork with coil springs that absorbs hits from rocks, roots, and potholes. And in the middle of the frame, there's a rear mechanical spring shock that absorbs what gets through from the back end. This is a dual spring suspension, front and rear, and it's designed to take on all terrain. I've ridden this through fields, I've ridden it on rough gravel, over roots, and I've also ridden it on pavement. And the difference between this setup and a bike without suspension is night and day. The handlebars stay stable, the seat doesn't punch you in the back, and I can focus on the ride instead of bracing for impact. So whether you're a commuter hitting the city streets, and a lot of those streets have bad road quality, or if you're an off-roader hitting light mountain trails, the suspension is doing real work for you. So next I'm going to show you my extreme steep hill climb test. And honestly, this is the test I've really been looking forward to. The H6 Pro claims it can handle up to a 45-degree incline. For reference, 45 degrees is very steep. Most regular bikes simply give up around about 20 or 25 degrees. So let me give you the numbers before I go up it. The H6 Pro has 180 Newton meters of total torque across both motors. For context, that is comparable to some small motorcycles. And peak power, of course, is 3,000 watts. I've got my dual motor all-wheel drive engaged. Let's go. Dual motor mode is on, I'm giving it full throttle, and this bike just goes. No bogging, no hesitation. The rear motor pushes and the front motor pulls, and that torque distributes the load so neither wheel spins out. This is exactly where a single motor e-bike would struggle. I've tested similar bikes on this hill right here, and they've either slowed dramatically or they've needed me to pedal hard to assist. The H6 Pro, it climbs without breaking a sweat, and I'm able to maintain about 5 to 8 miles per hour on this uphill from a complete stop. And that's the top. Done. The H6 Pro handled it confidently. Now, I'll be transparent, real-world performance is going to depend on the weight of the rider, whether you're pedaling to assist, and the battery level. But the raw power is there, and it does outperform what I've tested with similar brands at this price point. So let's wrap this up. First of all, let's talk about what this bike gets right. First of all, the dual 1,000 watt motors with the 3,000 watt peak power delivery delivers speed and hill climbing that's very difficult to find at this price. The 52 watt, 20 amp hour Samsung battery is high quality and gives you genuinely usable range. The full suspension makes this comfortable on rough terrain. The fat tires handled every surface I threw at them, and the included accessories, the phone mount and chain lock, add real value. But let's also talk about a few things to keep in mind about this bike. First of all, this is a heavy bike. The dual motors, the big battery, and the flat tires all add up. So if portability is a major factor for you, make sure to factor that into the equation. The instructions when setting it up could be more detailed, but like I said, if you need support, you can get support on the HiKNiGHT website. And while the bike does have an IP65 rating, which will handle light rain, you'll want to avoid any heavy downpours as this bike is not certified to get that wet. So finally, who is this bike for? If you're looking for a heavy-duty, all-terrain, high-speed electric bike that can genuinely commute, tackle trails, handle steep hills, and keep you riding for miles, the H6 Pro delivers. It's got the power of bikes costing significantly more, and HiKNiGHT backs it up with a 2-year warranty on the motor and frame. I'll link to the H6 Pro in the description below if you want to check it out. Are you a dual motor convert, or are you a single motor person? Drop your thoughts below, I'd love to hear. I'll see you in the next video.